Tonight we have NFL collect. Oh my gosh. The bargaining agreements, we have those tonight. New rules for the 2020 season and new sponsors. All this and more in 20 seconds. Hey, fellow fanatics, welcome to the Fanatically Real broadcast sponsored by Football, Darts, and Fantasy Sports Alliance. Sorry for the hiccup at the beginning. A little nervous as we are in our first broadcast of the 2020 season. Let's see who's out there already with us. Jason's on, Cheryl's on, Misty is on. How are you all tonight? Really sorry about the hookup right at the very beginning of this. Hey, so tonight, like we stated at the top of the show, we are going to be talking about the collective bargaining agreement NFL news for you. We're going to be talking about the new sponsors, returning sponsors, some few of the rule changes that we think you all need to know. We'll be talking about where we're at in membership numbers so far for the off season, new plans that we have for this broadcast, our schedule for the next couple of weeks and months, new updates to our standings page on MFL for 2020, results of the survey that went out on SurveyMonkey, and we have some birthdays to celebrate, and we hope you like the new layout of the show, and please let us know what you think about it throughout the broadcast tonight. Amanda's on with us, Kendall's on with us, Bill the Third on with us, Louie on with us. How are all of you? All right, let's get to these FSA 2020 sponsors. All right, first one we talk about is Finger Lakes Mercantile LLC and their owner, Brandon Gums. Brandon has been doing a really good job of getting our videos edited for us and getting them up on YouTube. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more here in a second. He is going to come aboard as one of our bowl sponsors for the 2020 season. And one of the things that he is going to give away as a prize are these amazing laser etched stainless steel coasters that he did for us here at FSA with Walter the Wizard on them. Let me get them up there on the screen so you all can see those. You'll get a set of 6 of those and the container that they come in. But if you don't want to wait until the end of the season to see if you're going to win those as one of the bowl game champions, you can click on the website that you see right there, and that will take you to his website where you can order the coasters, put in the discount code of iPlayFSA, just like we use for all of our other sponsors that are out there, iPlayFSA, and that will get you 10% off. And I see Brandon's on right now, and MJ's on with us, and Mondo just came on as well. Brandon, you said 10% off, right? So what are these normally priced at with shipping if they were to get them from you? All right, we are still working out those details with him, but as of right now, I think he is going to be a bowl game sponsor for us. Next one that we have on tap for you is Southern Sirens Sugar Scrub. You all probably remember that name. They were part of our South Atlantic region last year. They were our South Atlantic regional champions last year. The Great Lakes regional members definitely know who she is because her product is on their way to them with her sugar scrub. Thanks to Greg DeLong winning the entire alliance last year. Because he did that, his entire region is getting some of her product. So those are 2 of the new sponsors that we got coming on board for us next year. Some of our returning sponsors, as of course, like we said at the top of the show, Football Darts are back again this year as our broadcast sponsor. Talked to Jonathan Davies on the phone the other day. I was very happy to hear that he wanted to come back. So Jonathan is back as the broadcast sponsor for this year, and he's got something in the works for us as well, kind of a top secret project that he's doing just for FSA, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks we will be able to present that to you. Also coming back is Nature Coast Tailgating and their owner, Brandon Valenka. As we announced during our visit with Brandon last year, he is going to be sponsoring this year's World Championship Bowl. Remember, he sponsored the Nature Coast Tailgating Bowl last year, where the Yeet Cannon were able to get a 1 foot by 2 foot or a mini size cornhole boards customized with his logo on it for a tabletop set of cornhole boards. When we visited with Brandon last year, he said that he is going to be giving a custom full-sized cornhole boards to the world champion this year, along with custom bags. So that will be for the world champion. And then also coming back are our partners at Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast, and Brad, Eric, and Josh. While we were away in the offseason, they did 3 great shows titled The Big North Letdown, The Valentine's Special, and Are They Better? And then the Are They Better, they debated on whether players were going to be better next year or if they were going to have a little bit of a fall off next year. And a lot of good names in that list, so make sure you go out and listen to what they have to say. And then if you haven't heard Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast, please go out wherever you listen to any of your podcasts and download these guys and give them a listen. They are really, really great. And then, of course, we would love to welcome back, and I think he's still out there, Mondo Gutierrez and the boys from the Recast. If you heard the music at the beginning of the show and saw their logo in the bottom corner, they have a new album that they have released called Devastator. They have 4 tracks on that, one of them being Full Throttle that you heard at the very beginning of the show, and you're going to hear a little piece of another one of their songs called Banshee at the end of the show tonight. So make sure you go out and look up Devastator wherever you download your music and give their new album a listen. And we just got this artwork from Mondo last night, so you all are getting to see it earlier than anybody else in the world right now, and that is the new album cover for their album Devastator, and it looks freaking awesome. All right, so new rules for the 2020 season, some things that we think are going to be very important for you to know that are changes from 2019. But before I do that, who else has joined us? Athena's on, Heather's on, Bruce is on, Rocky's on. How are all of you tonight? New rules for the 2020 season. So last year we had 10 teams per region. This year we're going to have 12 teams per region. It's going to be 8 regions of 12 teams. It means it's going to be a total of 96 teams this year. Because of that, we're going to back off of the 2 quarterback start like we normally have, and we are going to do a 1 quarterback start instead. However, we are still going to do the 10 roster spots just like we had last year. That quarterback slot is now going to become a super flex player spot. What does that mean? That means in that position you can put anybody, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, or tight end in that super flex position. From a strategy standpoint, not to give away too much, it is always best for you to be able to start a quarterback in there if you can, but if for some reason you are unable to, it allows you the ability to flex and put any position you want in there. So the starting lineups for next year with that change are going to look like this. You're going to have 1 quarterback required, 1 running back required, 2 wide receivers required, and then what we're calling a minor flex. A minor flex is going to be a running back / wide receiver. Then, of course, you have a tight end. Then we have a major flex. The major flex is going to be running back, wide receiver, tight end, and then the super flex. The super flex, like we just mentioned, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and then kicker and defense, just like normal. There are a couple of changes in the scoring for the 2020 season. So not only are you going to get a half a point per reception next year like you've gotten in the last however many years that we've brought that on as a stat, you are going to get a half a point per first down for rushing and receiving. Not for passing, sorry for the quarterbacks. They're not going to get that if they pass for a first down, but they will get it if they rush for a first down. The half a point PPR, point per reception, still remains for the running backs, wide receivers, and quarterbacks if they end up catching the ball out of the backfield. However, we are going to give what's called a premium to the tight ends this year. So where everybody else is getting a half a point per reception, the tight ends are going to get a full point per reception in 2020. Let's see, what else is new for 2020? For our first time in our existence, we are going to have Dynasty next year as well. The way the Dynasties are going to be built, they're going to be in 12-team leagues. They will be based on professional defunct football teams. The divisions for those are going to be based on wherever that team was actually located in the country whenever they were an actual team, and that's how we'll break down the divisions. And if you want to know more than that, hit us up on all of our social media outlets through text message, email, however you want to reach out. We are one bit of information away from finalizing those bylaws for the Dynasty League, and we'll be able to send those out to anybody who might be interested. All right, let's talk about the membership count and where we are so far in the offseason. Who else jumped on since we've been on here? Jonathan Broughton, one of our Dynasty members, is on right now. So membership count, where we're at so far in the offseason, we have 13 members in the redraft league. That is 4 in the Great Lakes, 4 in the South Atlantic, 2 in the Mid-Atlantic, 1 in New England, 1 in our European region, and 1 in our Central region. And we have 8 people in our dynasty so far. And remember, the dynasty leagues are built on groups of 12. This is a supply and demand season for us. We are capping ourselves at 96 members this year, and we don't think we're going to have any problem reaching that number. So broadcast updates, next thing that we've got there on the topics for the night. We are switching over to YouTube this season. I know you're still currently watching this broadcast right now live on Facebook. However, for now, when this broadcast is over, it will stay on Facebook, and it will also be loaded onto YouTube. And we will continue this practice until 1 August. On 1 August, when we do the draft selection show, that's where you're going to find out what position you are drafting from. We will still continue to do the show on Wednesday nights. However, when the show is over, the broadcast will no longer stay on Facebook after 1 August or starting on 1 August. You'll have to go and watch the replay on YouTube. Now, the reason that we're doing that is we realized that we were missing some of our members last year because you have to have a Facebook account if you want to go in and watch the videos, and some of our members didn't. And with YouTube, you don't have to have an account, so anybody can go out there and watch. We are looking to get a custom channel name for our YouTube channel. However, to be able to do that, we need 100 subscribers. So if you have not gone over and subscribed to the YouTube channel, please go over and do that. Go up to the search bar, type in Fantasy Sports Alliance. You're going to see 2 different Fantasy Sports Alliance. One of those is connected to an old Yahoo account, which we are having a very hard time getting rid of. So what you're looking for is the one that has, I think it's 34 subscribers right now. So go in, subscribe to the channel, help us reach that 100 so we can get a custom YouTube channel name. All right, let's talk about the NFL. Why can I not say this? Let's talk about the bargaining agreement for the NFL. I don't know why I'm having a hard time saying that the name of that tonight. So not any news that are affecting your FSA teams tonight. We're hoping that you're paying enough attention to all of the media outlets that are telling you what's going on with that right now. A lot of quarterback rumors going on right now involving Jameis Winston, Tom Brady, stuff like that. So hopefully you're doing your homework and you're up on all of that. What we are going to talk about is the collective bargaining agreement that is happening right now between the NFLPA and the NFL players, the union, everybody that's involved in that. Some of the tidbits that are coming out of that right now is the NFL would like to expand their playoffs and add 2 more teams. What that's going to look like is that's going to put 7 teams in the AFC and 7 teams in the NFC. I've been saying this for a couple of years that they need to do this. I think from a business standpoint, it's really, really good. That means only 1 team is going to get the bye then, and instead of 2 teams resting players as they're getting ready to go into the playoffs, maybe a couple of teams are still fighting either for that bye or for a second position, and that they will play all the way into the end. So from competition standpoint, I think it's a smart idea. They are looking to expand the regular season from 16 games to 17 games. This could happen as early as 2021. Some of the problems that they're having with that right now is because that's an odd number of games in the schedule. Which teams get the extra home game in that? To make that happen, so the season doesn't go very much longer, they're thinking about making 1 less preseason game. But then the question is, does the season with the preseason, with the Hall of Fame game being the first game of the year, is it still going to be in the same slot? Does everything get backed up a week? Does the Hall of Fame game still start the first week of August? They only play 3 preseason games, and then they start the season a week early. Does everything shift to the right? The Hall of Fame game starts a week later than normal, 3 preseason games, where the season still starts where it normally does, but now we're playing 17 weeks. So then there is the Pro Bowl, then the week off, and then the Super Bowl. Does that mean the Super Bowl is now going to be played on President's Weekend? That means the majority of the U.S. is going to get that Monday off after the President's Weekend. All good things to think about. All things that why they're having a hard time probably get the collective bargaining agreement agreed upon and signed because of all of these question marks that's out there. Now, from all of the competition standpoint, is the money aspect of it as well. So currently, the players get about 47% of the league revenue. So there would be more money generated by those 2 additional playoff games, one in the AFC, one in the NFC, which could raise their share all the way up to 48% of the league revenue. With the extra game for the season being 17 games versus 16 means that the media is going to pay extra money, and then that means more revenue for the league to be able to share with the players. That means the players could get all the way up to 48.8% of the league revenues split among them. And then one other thing about competition for the collective bargaining agreement is the game day active rosters would increase from 46 to 48 spots, but one of those roster spots has to be held by an offensive lineman. So let's talk about our upcoming schedule for the next couple of weeks. But before I do that, I wanted to say hello to Matthew Little, who just joined us as well. Matt, what's going on, brother? Upcoming schedule. So this show is going to be every other week up until the NFL draft. So if you're expecting to see a show next week on the 11th, you won't see it. We'll be back live again with our second episode of the year on the 18th. And we will also be remote from Ohio. I am going to go make a visit to my family starting next Wednesday all the way until Thursday. We're going to stick around in town until we do the next show on the 18th on that Wednesday. And then I'm going to head on back home here to Georgia, hoping that on the 18th that we can get Jason on board with us from up in the Great Lakes region, and we can have somebody other than just my ugly face on this video for you all to watch and listen to. We will probably continue that every other week all the way up until the NFL draft, which takes place on the 23rd through the 25th. And then at that time, we're probably going to go to weekly shows, but we really haven't made up our mind yet. We might stay every other week all the way up until that draft selection show on 1 August. There is still debate on that. Like we said already earlier, the draft selection show will be the first one that will be live, but not saved on Facebook. It will be saved over onto YouTube. So like I said, if you're not already following us or subscribed to us on YouTube, please go over and do that. So draft selection day is on 1 August. The Hall of Fame game for the NFL, which is the first game of the season for preseason, is on 6 August. And then our draft day, this is where all of our regions draft, will be on 29 August. And there will be absolutely no exceptions this year. So we backed up our draft by 1 week. It's going to be during week 4 of the preseason for the NFL. So this will not affect anybody's Labor Day weekends. There will be different time slots for each one of the regions, but this will be the day next year. So make sure you mark it on your calendars now, 29 August. All right, standings updates. So hopefully you can see that image there on the left-hand side. We have done some things with the standings that we're going to continue on year after year to give some notoriety to people who have made some great accomplishments since they've been in this league. If you can see there on the Killers, the McCrackens, and the Warhawks, you see those gold stars that are on there. Each one of those stars represents a world championship for those teams. So if you see there, the Killers have won 2, McCrackens 1, and the Warhawks 1. Well, you see a little bit further down the page there on the Bourbon Boys is that little ribbon that's there in the corner. That ribbon means Bill III won the Appalachian region last year. He was the regional champion in the Appalachian region. What you're going to see right now, if you go over to the MFL page and scroll up and down on that, you're going to see other ribbons that are on there for the other regional champions from last year. Now, we will not have ribbons on every single one of the regional champions from past seasons, but we will have them on there from the previous years. That way everybody knows. So for now, in 2020, everybody will know who the 2019 regional champions were. In addition to that, you're going to see the top scoring team ribbon on there. And then to still be added on there is the Hall of Fame ribbons for our four Hall of Fame members that went in last year. We are also going to identify the rookies this year on the standing as well. We just haven't figured out what that's going to look like yet. And like I said, this is just a way for people to be able to identify who the heavy hitters are on the league, or in the league, like who they need to pay attention to, look out for, stuff like that. Just a way to get some notoriety. I see Justin Clark just came on with us as well. Good talking to you tonight, brother. Just so you all know, if you're out there talking and leaving messages, for whatever reason, Facebook is not showing your messages tonight. It's just showing me that you all are logging in. Unless everybody's just not saying anything tonight, but I find that hard to believe. So type something. Let me know if it comes up. But like I said, I'm not seeing anything right now, y'all. Sorry about that. If you thought that I was ignoring you, I'm not. I'm just not seeing any of the messages coming up. And Justin, I saw where you just posted that over there for a watch party on the VRV page. I really appreciate that, man. All right, so the next thing to talk about is the Survey Monkey. So we asked you all to take an end of the season survey. 20% of you took the survey. That means that was 16 members. So I want to thank you for doing that. Wanted to give you the results of that. Didn't want you to take that survey and then think that you weren't going to hear anything about it after the fact. So one of the first questions we asked were, how satisfied were you with the season? And would you be willing to recommend this league to a colleague or a friend? So that ranged, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest for satisfaction. That ranged anywhere between 7 and 10, with the majority, which was 6 of the 16, saying responding with a 9 for satisfaction. I'm going to look at my notes there for a second. So 9 out of the 16 people said, or 6 out of the 16 people rated it a 9 out of satisfaction. So appreciate you all for that. Everybody but one person who took the survey said they would be returning for 2020 or would recommend the league to their friends, family, or members or colleagues. Some of the concerns we had from you all from a competition standpoint, a couple of you do not like the 2-quarterback league, so hopefully we are solving that next year by going away from the 2-quarterback league and making it a 1-quarterback start with a super flex position. Some people did not like me reminding members to set their lineups, especially before week 1. I think their argument was, if you're paying this amount of money to play in this league, you need to stay up on it and know to set your own lineups. So duly noted, we will not do any reminders this year. Some people were concerned that the defensive scoring might still be a little low. We already have the defensive scoring set for the year. However, it will be something that we look at in the offseason of 2020 going into 2021 to see if that is in fact true, that it is a little low, and then we will adjust it before we go into 2021. Somebody did not like the tiebreaker rule that we use for playoff purposes as far as head-to-head inside each one of the regions. I think I could pinpoint specifically who that is. We have decided that we are going to change the tiebreaker rule. We are going to name that tiebreaker rule after the general manager that had a problem with that. And we will let Matt Brown, yep, Matt, I'm calling you out. We're going to let Matt Brown decide what that rule is going to be for the 2020 season. So, Matt, when we get a chance to talk, we'll sit down with that so we can name that rule the Matt Brown rule. And then a couple people wished that the regular season was longer. With the way that we do the playoff system, that's going to be difficult, but there is a point in time in the future when the current playoff system that we have is probably not going to be feasible when we reach past, probably even as soon as we reach past 96 in the redraft league. So we will look into ways of adjusting the playoffs. That way we can make the regular season longer for you all. And then 25% of you who took the survey, which means 4 out of the 16, said that you had problems navigating the MFL website. And I completely 100% agree with you. This is our second year using MFL. It's my third year actually using it because I play in another league that is on MFL. It is very cumbersome. It is sometimes hard to navigate around. Once you learn all of the features on MFL, though, it is a great website, and it's really good from a commissioner standpoint. So what we have decided to do during these off weeks, these every other week shows that we've got, when we have downtime during the week, we are going to, and I say we, me, Brandon, and the rest of the crew, Cheryl, MJ, Jason, Sean, Randy, we're all going to work on some videos for you all to help you with that. So 3 sets of videos that we are going to be working on is FSA 101. That's kind of going to give you a history and a little bit about FSA and what we're all about. So anybody who's curious about what we're about, instead of just going out to the website and reading about it or trying to have to ask one of the partners that's in the group or whatever, they could just go out onto YouTube and watch the FSA 101 video. So we're going to work on putting that together. And then we are also going to put together a video of how to navigate the My Fantasy League website as well. Like I said, we know it's cumbersome. So we are going to go out there, cumbersome, whatever. We're going to go out and take some screenshots, some videos and stuff like that for you all. Show you the highlights, the most important parts to get you around MFL, especially around FSA on MFL and the things that you need. And then we are also going to do... I said we were going to do a third set of videos. The other set of videos we're going to do is we're going to do a sponsorship spotlight. So we are going to get together with our sponsors, whether we have to do that over Skype or we're going to do it in person. We are going to do interviews with our sponsors, and then we are going to post those up onto YouTube as well as sponsor spotlights. All right. I got one more piece of information to put out about SurveyMonkey. One of the reasons we are switching over to YouTube was because of some of your responses on SurveyMonkey. We found the majority of you use Facebook and YouTube as your video sources, and not many of you use Instagram or Twitter as part of your social media platforms that you use. So what we're probably going to do is use Instagram and Twitter more of as a pinging type thing to get your attention. And then the majority of our stuff is probably going to be done on Facebook and YouTube this year because of what you had said on that survey. All right, so let's get down here to Squad Locker. So want to remind you that we do have Squad Locker stores set up for some of our members. If you have not already got on board with that and you would like a Squad Locker store, let us know. We will set that up for you for free. You can actually go right now on the FSA MFL website and click on shop, and it will take you to all of the logos of the teams that have stores on Squad Locker right now. So you can see what it looks like, and if you would like one for your own team, let us know. We will build that for you. The other reason we're bringing that up right now, and this is a real big reason of why we wanted to brand the Dynasty League as defunct professional football teams. We should be able to, because it is a defunct professional football team, we have been doing the research when those members come to us and say, hey, I want to use such and such team. We're going out and doing our due diligence to make sure that there is no trademark or copyright marks on those logos anymore. So we should have the freedom to be able to use their logos and put together merchandise for you all. So if you would like a Squad Locker store for your Dynasty team, let us know, and we should be able to start putting that together for you as well. And in all of my diarrhea of the mouth, I see Jackie came on with us, Ryan came on with us, and Dan came on with us. How are all of you tonight? Sorry, y'all. Still not seeing your messages coming up, and I'm not sure why that is. Hopefully, they'll be there after we end the broadcast tonight, and I can go back through and respond to all of you. All right, one last button to get through for the night, and that is the happy birthday. The reason we were bringing that up is because while we were off the air in the month of February, Chris Simpson, one of our general managers from the Griffins region out in the UK, celebrated his birthday on 27 February, so we want to say happy birthday to Chris. And the reason you still see the Squad Locker logo up there is We are collecting your birthdays this year on the form when you fill out for the membership for the year. And we are putting your birthday on our big long range calendar for the year. And what we're going to do when it is your birthday month, we're going to announce it on the show, and we are also going to give you discounts on Squad Locker gear. So those discounts will come in forms of your gear if you decide to set up a Squad Locker store, or if you want to go in and purchase FSA gear, you will get a coupon during your birthday month where you can use that on Squad Locker. So once again, happy birthday to Chris Simpson. We have been on air for 30 minutes and 30 seconds tonight. It is time for us to go. Thank you all for coming out to our first episode of the 2020 season. But we could not go away without thanking all of our sponsors from 2019. You're going to get to hear a little bit of another one of the tracks off of the new Devastator album by The Recast. This one is the song we mentioned earlier, Banshee. We'd like to thank all of our returning sponsors that are coming back for 2020. Football Darts and Jonathan Davies, Brandon from Lincoln from Nature Coast Tailgating, and then The Recast, Mondo Gutierrez and the guys from there. Also tonight, Justin's on with us. Got to talk to Justin tonight from the VRV. We are putting together something very, very special from a competition standpoint that the VRV is going to sponsor in 2020. We are still trying to iron out the details, as that was very fresh, like within 30 minutes before we came live tonight. So pay attention to the upcoming shows and on social media when we put out that information. And then thank you for our other sponsors from 2019, some of whom might still come back for 2020. We just have not been able to reach them yet. And that's Brandon Prince from Deep South Creations and James Jones from Ladies Love Big Men. Have already talked to Jesse Worthington and Maggie Steinman from Georgia Rustic Candle Company. They will not be returning to us in 2020. Would like to very much thank you for their sponsorship from the 2019 season. That is really going to end it for the night. We'd like to thank you all for watching the Fanatically Real broadcast sponsored by Football, Darts, and Fantasy Sports Alliance. If you like this show, please like and share and subscribe to the show and follow us on all your social media outlets. You saw them at the bottom of the show all night. And make sure you go over to YouTube and like us over there, subscribe, and turn your alerts on. And we will see you in 2 weeks from Ohio. You all have a great night.